Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about survey questions. Writing impactful questions is not always easy, but when you do it the right way, there are a lot of benefits. In screeners, good questions can help increase your response rates and make sure that you're targeting the right people. And, in the main body of your survey, there are certain pitfalls in question wording that will, if you avoid them, will give you more accurate results and also give you richer context in the respondent's answers. So let's jump in. First, I want to talk about the differences between screener and quant questions. And when I say quant questions, I'm really just talking about the main survey questions. Um, this is pretty easy when you think about it, but really a screener question is really just meant to identify a target, who you want to bring into your survey. And then, the problem is that I've seen where quant questions get embedded within your screener, and you want to avoid that because you're trying to be efficient with your screener so you can identify your target as quickly as possible. Otherwise, you're just wasting their time if they don't happen to qualify. So leave any quant questions towards the main body of the survey and keep your screener as tight as possible so you can get those people screened in quickly. All right, now let's talk about some ways to write questions that can help improve response rates and reduce bias and give you more accurate data. There's definitely some common problem areas that will make this process more challenging. Things like if you've got a low incidence consumer target, or if you've got a long survey length, or you're taking too long to qualify the right people, that's definitely going to impact response bias or response rate. But when it comes to writing questions, I've got some pointers that can definitely help improve some of these measures too. So first, I like to avoid asking yes/no questions in a screener. And the reason why is a yes/no question is very easy to answer, and it can end up tempting a respondent to answer less thoughtfully if they're just trying to qualify themselves as quickly as possible. So there's also something called acquiescence bias, also known as agreement bias. And this is the tendency of selecting the more positive response to appear more agreeable, even if that's not the true reflection of their own opinion. So you can end up with a dishonest answer, and then your data quality isn't good. So as an example, I would avoid asking something like, do you buy bottled water? Yes or no? And instead ask, which brands of bottled water have you purchased in the past month? And also provide a randomized brand list with an option of I don't buy bottled water at the end. This is going to force them to think a lot more about their answer versus just saying yes or no. And now not only do you know if they buy bottled water, but you're also going to know the brands that they buy too. So it's a win-win. All right. Next one is making sure that your questions aren't leading in any way. This is an easy mistake to make, but leading questions can end up biasing a respondent and indirectly nudging them toward a certain answer, just because of the way you asked it. So for example, if I asked something like, how great was your experience using this product today? It's slight, but you're already pushing them towards a positive answer because you use the word great. So instead, I would ask, how much did you like or dislike this product today? And use a Likert scale. So it allows them to answer across a continuum of answers from highest to lowest points. So strongly liked all the way down to strongly disliked. The key is keep that wording as balanced as possible, leave out any judgment, and then you're going to get a much better answer. All right. Next one is double barrel questions. You want to avoid this. This could be a case where you've got a lot of questions and not a lot of room in your survey. So you try jamming together multiple questions into one, and it's going to make it tough for the respondent to answer that. So if I asked you, how satisfied were you with the packaging and price point of your last beverage purchase? You have to merge two answers into one. So you may have thought the packaging was great, but the price was way too high and you weren't happy with it. So how do you answer that? What I would always recommend is proofread your questions and look out for words like and or, because that could be an indicator that you're trying to ask for multiple things and you need to split those up into separate questions. You also want to avoid using technical jargon in your questions. We have to remember most consumers don't have the marketing background that we have, so try to keep it simplistic. I always recommend putting your consumer hat on and take the survey as a respondent, or even have a friend or family member take the survey. If they struggle in any way, your respondent's going to struggle too. So you got to go back and make some changes. And the one last one is avoiding overlapping scales. So this is also a common oversight that can be made where you show a set of answers as a scale to choose from. And it could be something like if you're asking them the frequency of purchasing fast food, and you have options for 3 to 5 times a month and then 5 to 7 times a month. So you're using 5 twice. So if their answer is 5, Now they have two different options they could choose from. So it's going to cause a little confusion, and it also throws off your data accuracy. All right. So those are some watch outs to keep in mind when you're writing questions in your next survey. And one final tip is for when you're writing qualitative questions. So when you write qual questions correctly, it'll be open-ended in nature, and there isn't a possibility of getting a quick yes/no response. It's also going to be easy for the respondent to digest, and there's no need for clarification. So what you really want from them is a story. Make them a storyteller, and you'll get a lot richer and more insightful responses. So for instance, if I asked if you like to go grocery shopping, it's basically allowing you to say, no, not really, or yeah, it's not bad. It's too easy of an answer. But if I ask you, take me through your last experience when you went grocery shopping, from when you entered the store, when you were purchasing products, the decision process you made for certain purchases, what the checkout experience was, all of that. So if you position it more as a journey, responses are going to be more thought out, and it's also going to allow you to uncover some opportunities and challenges in their experience. All right. I hope those were helpful tips for writing surveys. I don't have a life hack today. Instead, I wanted to share an inspirational quote. So it's a pretty well-known one. It's from Wayne Gretzky, Hall of Fame hockey player. And he said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I love this quote. I try to live by it every day. I instill it within my kids on a regular basis. They're probably really tired of me saying it. But this quote pushes you to do things that you normally wouldn't do. It makes you get out of your comfort zone, and it ultimately allows you to have experiences that maybe you wouldn't have had before. So all I would say today is get out there and take some shots. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks.